everyone, this is Pico Entertainment and we are back again, and here now we have another video for you, and we're going to talk about the opening box office weekend for Super Mario Bros, how big it is for the year in 2023, and whether there's been a certain overhype and speculation about its instant success. So when we talk about this, we're covering the period from Friday the 7th of April to Monday the 10th of April 2023, and the video game animated adaptation certainly smashed it with a great $146 million opening weekend within US cinemas, and this is overall the highest total within the US domestic for the 2023 so far. Having gone on release in that territory on April the 5th, the movie has grossed a total of $204 million. Internationally, the movie collected an extra $173 million to give the animation a global tally of around $377 million. So obviously this is a massive success for the Illumination Entertainment production, and it will easily go on to be the most successful video game adaptation, topping the previous holders, the likes of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which managed to gross $405 million back in 2022, and also Pokemon Detective Pikachu, which grossed $429 million back in 2019. And it's quite the contrast of success from the previous Super Mario Bros. Adaptation, the live-action version from way back in 1993, starring Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo. Now obviously that was back in the era where video game adaptations were very few and far between, not really having that great amount of success. But in terms of Super Mario Bros., I think overall its success is down to a great release schedule and both marketing as well. Coming out during the Easter season, it had very little competition, and overall the bright colours and animated visuals was of course very appealing to kids, giving parents the perfect excuse to take them out to see the movie during the holiday season. The Mario video game franchise is one of the most long-standing iconic properties, emanating from way back in the 1980s and 90s, alongside the likes of Sonic, Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, and all of these franchises continue to thrive today. Now I'm old enough to remember growing up during the Super Mario phenomenon, playing very much the likes of the NES and also the Super Nintendo, games such as Super Mario World, Super Mario Kart and Bomberman and Yoshi's Island, and all of those games were part of a franchise that was always appealing to kids and very accessible to that type of demographic. So will this movie go on to be the first $1 billion film of the year? We will wait and see, but it's certainly got off to a very good start, and I would expect at this stage at least the $800 to $900 million gross, and it will definitely be one of the highest grossing movies of the year so far. Now I do want to talk about the certain narratives surrounding Super Mario's success. How, for example, that this is a major strike against the domination of the MCU, how Disney and other competing studios will be very unhappy with its opening, and how the movie goes against typical woke Hollywood. Now we always get this when we have a big success that is a non-Disney film or a non-MCU film, especially when it performs massive at the box office, and I will still continue to disagree with the fact that one huge success is going to have such an impact. In terms of the franchises that are currently dominating, we had the same narratives being pushed with the John Wick 4 opening weekend, and the fact that overall this is still one film that isn't going to destroy or eliminate Disney or Marvel. Now despite the recent issues within Phase 4 and Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, the MCU will still continue to push on with its Phases 5 and 6 regardless. Now whether those future projects will be as successful or not, that's another question. But the fate of the MCU certainly isn't going to be determined or dictated by the success of Super Mario Bros. I've constantly said on this channel that it will take 4 to 5 back-to-back failures before we can start entertaining the prospect of the MCU coming to an end. And this goes the same with Disney, who for all of the antagonism, which is more online to be honest, still stands as the biggest movie studio, and they are in charge of multiple franchises that will continue to garner big success. We only need to look at the live action adaptations of the animations such as Beauty and the Beast, The Lion King and also Aladdin. All of these movies grossed well over $1 billion. And in all likelihood that form is set to continue with the release of Little Mermaid later on this year as well. So just like Marvel, the success of Super Mario Bros. Isn't all of a sudden going to make Disney disappear. The studio will continue to exist and continue to put out movies on a regular basis, regardless of how successful Super Mario Bros. Is or not. We then talk about all of the hype around the supposed Nintendo cinematic universe, how the success of Super Mario Bros. Will lead to other iconic Nintendo characters all getting movies, such as the likes of Donkey Kong, Metroid and Zelda. Now at this stage I would really hold fire on that prospect. Yes, we will get a Super Mario Bros. Sequel, that's inevitable, and yes, studios will have far more confidence in video game adaptations following the success of both this and Sonic. That's how it goes within the industry. But to really start proclaiming that we're all of a sudden going to get an all-conquering cinematic universe around video game characters, I just think it's a bit over-hyperbolic and speculative. For all we know, Super Mario Bros. Could have a massive drop in its second weekend. It hasn't exactly got a very positive critical reception, so who knows, that may have some effect within its second weekend of release. Now, as I mentioned before, Super Mario is well known within certain generations, but I'm not quite as sure that the likes of Metroid or Zelda are quite on the same iconic status as what Super Mario is. So I wouldn't have as extreme confidence in those type of films making the same amount of grosses that what we have seen so far with Super Mario. So I do understand that in today's climate, very much people live in the present. They get so hyped up over what's currently happening and then go on to make certain speculations as to what will happen in the future. But I really do think we need to just take this stage one movie at a time. Let's see how the sequel of Super Mario performs and then other adaptations before we start proclaiming that this will be the next culturally impactful franchise to dominate Hollywood. But despite all of that, a very big success for Super Mario Bros. Again, without question, will go on to be one of the highest grossing movies of the year. But I do think that we just need to hold back a bit on any hype and speculation regarding the end of the MCU or the end of Disney, or whether we will see an extended cinematic universe surrounding Super Mario or Nintendo characters. So those are my overall thoughts and quick feelings and reporting on the first big box office weekend for Super Mario Bros. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think this will have some sort of seismic shift within the cinematic landscape, or do you think this may be just an anomaly given the critical reception, and that we do have to wait and see how future sequels or adaptations perform first before we start proclaiming anything about an extended universe? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you have any other suggestions regarding any other movies, television series, or any other topics that you'd like to see me cover within the entertainment and pop culture scene, then also drop me a suggestion and I will see if I could cover that subject matter for you within the future. Please also hit and like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you very, very soon.